Well, hey there, and welcome to Board to Learn, the channel dedicated to helping you learn how to play your new games faster. I'm Kent, and today we're looking at Enchanted Ivy, a cozy puzzle game for one player. So, meet me at the table, and we'll get started. In Enchanted Ivy, you take on the role of Ivy, the courageous new owner of a magical inn. Your goal is to build your inn in a way that best suits your unusual guests, while cultivating the ivy growing across its walls. You'll score points based on how well you've satisfied your guests and how successfully you've connected the ivy throughout your inn. Before we get started, one quick tip. If you're anything like me, the first thing you wanted to do was punch out every token in the box. I'd recommend holding off. Enchanted Ivy is an evolving game, and the rulebook suggests only punching out new doors and guest tokens when the game tells you to. That way you won't accidentally unlock something before you're supposed to. Because of this, we will set up and learn how to play the Prologue. Now, let's get everything set up. Pull out Storybook Act 1 and open it to Prologue, Open for Business. Then find the 4 guest cards used for the Prologue: the Monk, Mystery Knight, Painter, and Scarecrows. Place these with their description side face up to the right of your play area. Then place the Ivy scoring card just beneath them. Next, gather the matching guest tokens. You'll need 1 Monk, 1 Mystery Knight, 1 Painter, and 4 Scarecrow tokens. Before placing them into the draw bag, set aside the Painter and 1 Scarecrow token. Then place the remaining 5 guest tokens into the draw bag. Now give all 20 Ivy cards a good shuffle. Randomly remove 8 cards and return them to the box without looking at them. Place the remaining 12 cards into a draw pile with the balcony side facing up. Since your inn will eventually grow into a 3x4 grid, leave yourself some open space in the middle of the table before moving on. Place a starting door in front of you, then draw 2 Ivy cards and place them beside the door. Finally, place the 2 starting guests you set aside, the Painter and 1 Scarecrow, next to your starting Ivy cards. This is considered your hand. And with that, the setup is complete. Before we dive into the details, let's take a quick look at how a game flows. Throughout the game, you'll gradually build your inn by adding 2 Ivy cards each round, one as a balcony and one as a wall. After placing your cards, you'll welcome 1 new guest into the new room. Then end a round by replenishing your hand with 2 new Ivy cards and another guest token from the draw bag. You'll continue building your inn following these 3 steps until all 12 Ivy cards have been placed. Then you'll score points for your guests and your Ivy to see if you've earned enough points to complete the scenario. With gameplay and scoring in mind, let's move into placement. We'll start by taking a closer look at the Ivy cards. You can use either side of an Ivy card, so before placing a card, take a look at both sides before deciding which card will become your balcony and which will become your wall. The balcony must always be placed upright. It cannot be rotated or flipped. The wall card is a little more flexible. It must also stay vertical, but you can place it in either direction. Every new card must be placed orthogonally adjacent to at least 1 card already in your inn. And once a card has been placed, it cannot be moved. You can build in any direction as long as you stay within your allotted grid layout. Remember, for this scenario, it's a 3x4 grid. As you're building, pay close attention to how the Ivy connects from one card to the next. Ivy is considered connected whenever it touches along any portion of a shared edge. Simply touching at the corners does not create a connection. If a balcony appears to separate Ivy, that Ivy is considered connected. At the end of the game, you will score points based on the number of separate Ivy patches found on your inn. The fewer patches you have, the more points you will score. Of course, you're not just building an inn for the Ivy, you're also building it for your guests. Let's take a closer look at the different guest cards in the Prologue scenario. The top left of each card shows a picture of the guest. To the right is an example of scoring for that guest. Across the middle, from left to right, you have the guest icon, followed by the guest's alignment. You will see why this becomes important later in the campaign. Then you have the guest name. On the bottom left is an explanation of how that guest will score and how many points. To the right, you will find some fun flavor text. Now that you know how everything works, let's put it all together and take a closer look at a round. Start by placing both Ivy cards, deciding which one will become your balcony and which one will become your wall. while following the placement rules we just covered. Once both cards have been placed, choose one guest token from your hand and place it onto the balcony you just added. Each balcony can only hold one guest, and once a guest has been placed, it cannot be moved. Finally, replenish your hand by drawing 2 new Ivy cards and 1 guest token from the draw bag. Then continue following these same 3 steps each round. As play continues, at some point before the end of the game, you'll need to place the door to your inn. During the prologue, you'll only have the starting door available, but as you progress through the campaign, you'll unlock additional secret doors. When you have more than 1 door available, choose only one to place during that scenario. Unless the door says otherwise, it must be placed on a wall in the bottom row of your inn. Once placed, immediately resolve any effects shown on the back of the door. After placing your door, you cannot add any new Ivy cards below it. Once you've placed all 12 Ivy cards into your inn and placed a door, the game comes to an end, and it's time to score. Turn the page in the storybook to reveal the scoring table. Here you'll record the points earned from your guest, your Ivy, and your door. Start by scoring each guest according to the preferences shown on their guest card. While the Scarecrows never score points on their own, they can still play a role in helping your other guest earn points, or even lose points. Next, count the number of separate Ivy patches throughout your inn. Using the Ivy scoring card, find the matching number of Ivy patches and record the corresponding points. Remember, to be connected, Ivy has to touch along an edge. Touching at the corners doesn't count. And the goal is to create the fewest number of patches. The fewer separate patches you have, the more points you'll earn. Finally, score the door you placed in your inn. During the prologue, the starting door is worth 3 points. Add all of your points together to determine your final score. Then compare that total to the success score shown in the storybook. If you've met or exceeded the goal, congratulations! You've completed the prologue and are ready to move on. But before you do, there's one more thing worth mentioning. Once you pass the prologue, scenarios will also include optional challenges to complete. Finishing a challenge earns you a sticker to place in your keepsake board as a record of your accomplishments. Don't worry if you don't complete every challenge the first time. Each scenario can be replayed as often as you'd like, giving you the opportunity to earn every sticker before moving on to the next chapter of the story. And that's how to play Enchanted Ivy. Since Enchanted Ivy is an evolving game, I've intentionally only covered the prologue so you can discover the rest of the campaign for yourself. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and consider subscribing to learn even more great games. Turn the bell on to be notified of my latest videos. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer. And remember, it's not just how you play, it's how much fun you have. I'll see you next time on Board to Learn. Now, give all 20 Ivy cards a good shuffle. Randomly remove, as long as you stay within your allotted grid layout. Layout. That was just a hard word to say, apparently.